Everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to the farm here. So it's March, as you can see, so I am trying to figure out what to do. Everything I have to my name, that is that $188,847. It's planting time, I know that, but given the time constraints I've been sharing recently and so forth, I am feeling the strain of the 6-meter planter. Looking at things, I don't know that there's really anything I can do. I would have a need for a much larger tractor to pull anything substantially larger. And so at this point, and basically unless I want to start plowing, which is I think just going to make it larger time, so cultivating and then planting, I really can go from a 6-meter to a 9-meter and then to a 15-meter. But the 15-meter that is a direct drill is still needing 370 horsepower, and I have 313. So 188,000 isn't going to cut it, but obviously the way to do that is to get stuff in the ground. But I think what I've determined, and I'm thinking I'm going to put it over here because again it's kind of near the farm but yet out of the way. I think I need a couple little silos for seeds and fertilizer, because driving up and down, that is a challenge as well. So at this point, unless I want to keep just wanting to plant one field because I get frustrated with the time it takes me to run up and down, I need to get some storage on the farm. Alright, so I think I'm going to need a couple. I'm going to need 3 things, because I'm basically going to need seeds. Alright, so that's my front, so I want to put them in that order. I need seeds, fertilizer, and lime at this point, because those are the things that I need to keep running up and down and doing. And you can see the edge is there. So to be kind of clear of things, I probably want to be over here. So I'm going to do a couple of these. So we've got that, and then that one doesn't do seeds, where this one does. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one here with the seeds. Alright, so now the real thought also is, how much of everything do I need? Even though those things can hold a bit, filling them will certainly really deplete my money. In the end, obviously I make money off of it, but I do need to be careful. So I think the biggest thing right now is, let me start with fertilizer since that's the most expensive. I'm going to take a quick look here. Alright, so as I thought, that's the other piece, is I need lime. I think I need to do that before I plant, but that was partially why I wanted to get the lime. So yeah, in case you weren't sure where I put things, it's here, along the edge of the field. There is where I've got my supply silos and so forth. You know, we've got a few of these, it's just I can't pick them all, which is fine. So yes, I need to get some lime, and I need fertilizer, but yeah, I was wanting to check if I needed any lime. So I'm going to set myself to 25,000, because fertilizer is expensive. Lime, not so much, so I may bring the full 120,000 liters of lime and just have enough of that. But I think, because fertilizer I think is over $1 a liter, so if I did even 50,000, I'd already take half my money. And so I certainly don't want to do that, and I know seeds are up there near the 70-80 cents a liter. So I'm thinking maybe 25,000 of everything but lime and everything but lime. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to run that up and down. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on liming the field and planting. And not sure what I'm going to do yet. So I'll either return and let you know, or I'll just fill you in next time on where things ended up, just depending how it goes. Again, I'm trying to change the format of these videos a bit to really just focus very quickly on what I'm doing, because unless I've got something specific to share, I got something going on with my steering too, so I'm gonna head away, try to get things squared up, and then I'll be back at some point in the future. We'll get that going. I just was having some trouble with my steering and so forth, so rather than chat while I was driving. So I'm trying to keep these videos a little bit more compact, as we've talked about. So just want to give you an update of what my plans are, but I'm going to go ahead and get 25,000 liters of both seed and fertilizer, I think. I'm just watching that money roll down and getting a little nervous, but it's not as if I need to spend more money after the supplies. But I think 25,000 liters of fertilizer should be good for a few years at least. And that would be a good start. Seed, certainly, I think I use even less than I do with fertilizer. But I'll probably go ahead and get a full truck of lime, and unless that suddenly gets me really, really low on funds. I can still go off and contract if I need to make some money and kind of give myself some comfort on the bank balance. But yeah, definitely don't want to do 50,000 of fertilizer, because you can see what's going on. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not sure if I'm still going to plant canola. Probably going to go ahead maybe and try to do something different this year. But yet not sure. Oh, I got to get that down to my farm. That's that auto loader that I won. So I guess I should clean up after that. So I've got a few things to get done. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, and at some point I'll be back, either when we're fertilizing tomorrow or something, and kind of clarify what I decided to go ahead and plant. But I'll see you in a bit. Another exciting day here on the farm. Looks like we're getting some rain, but I just need to get fertilizer down. So I'm going to jump in my trusty tractor here and get that done. But before that, few other things have happened since we've been together. I planted the field. I went ahead and decided to do so in oats. A little bit of my drive is potentially seeing if maybe I can do some contracts in the season while I'm waiting, to go ahead and leave the straw, pick it up and bale it, and then start making some money and just basically start doing baling work on the farm as well. But most importantly, whoa, good deal. I found something on the used market. Thanks to Limerick for calling my attention to it in time that I could actually get it. But I picked up this sweet piece of horsepower and metal and tires and everything for $170,000 on the used market, after some negotiation and so forth. But again, up near high level of hours. I think it's almost 220 hours. So definitely been well used and so forth. But that puts me in a fine position to expand things. So it's not super large. I mean, it is a large tractor, but you can see it's 517 horse, so it's not. I think the maximum ones are 670, so I'm not going to be able to pull anything huge, but I should be able to maybe in the future change out from my planter and so forth. But let me get going on what I need to here, but just wanted to definitely share where things were at, because I figured that would be pretty exciting news. It was certainly exciting to me. It was not something I was expecting, but that was literally probably 20 minutes before I was ready to sign off, and they put it out there, and I went ahead and was able to take advantage of it because, again, I was on voice chat with the folks here on the server and talking about things in the farm and what could be done and so forth, and they're like, hey, I see this, and I was initially like, I'm not gonna do that. Oops, let me change the limit, because at this point I can go ahead and load up with all the fertilizer here. It's not going to get me fully full, but I did go ahead and take a loan, so you can see I've got some loan interest and so forth. I needed to take a loan to go ahead and do that, so $155,000, but probably well worth it for the few $100s of interest I'll have to pay every few days. I probably got it for about half of what I would have paid if I had bought everything new. So that's as good a discount as I could expect, and more importantly, it was actually something I could utilize. So that was just nice to see. So wanted to share that good news with you, and I'm going to go ahead now and get the work done, and then I will see you in a bit. So I'm going ahead, borrowing another little bit of money here, because I want to take care of the last piece that I've got here that needs a bit of work. I think I should be able to do this. It's not overlapping, and then it's nearby. I'm hoping, I'm just worried. I wonder if let's see. Yeah, see, that's a lot more. Well, no, actually, it's not too bad there. So if I do that should be far enough from the road. So I'm going to put that there. But that way, I've got the last little bit here that I need to worry about. So I need to get some fuel, so I'm going to need to buy that, so I don't have that much. But let's see, I don't need 5,000 liters, let's just do 2,000 liters. Alright, so that gives me that. We'll do the repair, because I knew I needed to do that. And then here I can go ahead and fill myself up, and at least now I've eliminated the need to run up to the shop to do any activities. So in chatting with some folks yesterday, I was talking about the fact that I hadn't put a fuel tank on because I'm used to FSN rules where we need to then cart that fuel, and I'm like, buying a tanker doesn't make a lot of sense. That did lead to another discussion too that I guess is probably worth sharing at this point. But basically, before I finished the diesel, they said, well, you don't need to, you can just buy it. And yes, it costs a little bit more, but it's usually worth it to not have to go get it and so forth. That makes it a little easier. Obviously, I had to, borrow some more money to do that. But then the other piece they talked about were greenhouses, and unlike FSN, again, there's no permit required, so you're not having a drain there, but you do have to supply them with water, and you're limited to 3 of them. But as far as some sort of income, that was an idea that was floated to me by some folks, is, throw some greenhouses on your property, and then you can start making, I think they said it was like 4,000 a day or something, so that at least it covers your operational costs, and you don't have to wait like I am until things come up. But just wanted to pop in here quickly, let you know about those couple things, and get the diesel going. So again, fleshing things out here on the farm. Fertilizing is done, by the way, so everything was taken care of pretty quickly. and I will see you in a bit. Welcome back to the farm this year. So, as expected, we're here. We've got oats to handle. So, I've waited a little bit because I used the time yesterday. There were definitely days in between where there were no contracts at all. So, yesterday, I had time that I could have come in here and done the harvest. I didn't actually even come in and check to see if it was ready, because there were contracts available and I want to have enough to be able to do some baling. So I should be in good shape. I got $97,500. You saw a little bit. I showed you some quick views of my work as I was doing the contracts, and multiple servers, multiple contracts got me there. So this 102,000 is where I'm at. If we look over here, the other thing obviously I wanted to check was, am I making money? So yes, I'm finally in the positive, but I'm literally making on average about $1,000 a day. This obviously includes the 97,500 I moved in, so it doesn't really count, and we haven't hit the loan interest yet, which is gonna suck down $666. You know, I could pay down the loan, but then I have to take the loan out to get equipment. So obviously I'll just keep going along that way. And then haven't added water since I was in here. So you can see I really don't need to add water that often. I'm trying to see, now that I know it's about 1,000 for strawberries, I'm switching to tomatoes because lettuce is much more, it's kind of the more intensive crop as I view it. Where you're going to get, you're going to get 2 waters per, so it's going to consume water faster, where this is still 1. But, you know, this is 1 to 2, this is going to be 1 to 1, but hopefully tomatoes sell for more. So I'm just going to see if I can figure out which one might be a little bit more profitable and go from there. But at this point, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to start harvesting these oats, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab a baler. So once I do that, I'll probably come back and give you an update. But at this point, you know, I'm just hopping in here and going to go around. I don't think I have a way out of here to grab the header and come out. I don't think I'm going to fit. Maybe I might. So maybe I'll give it a go. Because if I can avoid taking this trailer out every time and bringing it back, it's just a little bit less. But, you know, while I'm trying to keep the episodes more reasonable, I mean, I think you still want to see something. So, again, let me know if all you want is me to give you updates and not show you any work at all. I can certainly do that too, but if I fit, it's going to be just barely. Oy. Alright. Well, I might be able to go... This is interesting. I might be able to go like that way. And now that I'm through the tree... Oh boy. But I don't think I can fit there either. So it's like just... Oh, no, I did. Look at that. I have to be right against the building, but alright. So I'll figure it out over time, because that will certainly be something I can do. Alright, so I need to turn the terrain angle off, and then just try to move 15 meters. So there we go. Looks like that'll work. We can then run this over to the edge, enable the straw swath, unfold the harvester, obviously. So yay, I remember that without it yelling at me. But at this point, we can go and... trying to remember, I think this is Well, yeah, this is the first harvest with this harvester and with this header. Shoot. Alright, well, let me make this somewhat straight. I need a different angle. I can see already I'm going off the field. So this is always a little bit of the danger, is trying to make sure you've got enough. Oh, so close. There we go. Alright, so I think that'll work. Because obviously I'd like a straight line, so when I'm baling, it's easy. There's a crop calculator that someone in FOC has put out. Sitesurfer's put together something that is available to be used. It's a website, and basically it just does the calculations, and so you can tell it how many acres you have, what you've put in, what you've done to the field. So it's telling me I should get a little over 200,000 acres. It also does give you information on what in theory you'll make off of it. So it did verify that of the grains, this should be the most. I think I'm going to get like just about 70,000. So this canola, I thought it would be a wash. The straw should get me more. So I think that will be a good thing, but obviously it's a little bit more work. And so we'll talk about the baling, I guess, once I get there, instead of talking about it now. So we'll deal with that, but, you know, giving you a little bit of a view here of what we've got going on, and I will be back in a bit. Okay, one of the things is I'm in the middle of the harvest. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place one of these bale stores. I'm going to be doing round bales. Alright, so we've got that there. Part of my rationale here is, you know, I'm going to be able to drop the bales here, and then they come out over in this area, I think, or vice versa. Maybe they come out there, but I think this is where I place them. But in either event, like, I can easily then pull from here and get over to the bale storage. And I'll explain the rest of my thinking later on. Alright, so as always, unable to finish at one sitting, so late at night here. I did beat the rain. I was really worried. I came on here just before 2100, and it's supposed to rain during this hour sometime, so it could start at any minute, but I got done. So I still have some more in the harvester, probably a little over 10,000. So we'll get this done, and then we'll see where we're at. So I'll go get that emptied out, and then I'll be back. Alright, so we're here dumping it in. Well, thought I was. Is it done? 247,896. Yep, looks like it is. So we'll go ahead and pop that here so you can see where we've got our bale store. So a little bit down the hill as we graded things, but it looks like it's drivable. I just don't know if we have another hill. Yeah, we do. Just a bit much going on, but hey, we got what we got, but at least it's workable. So I am going to go ahead here and get this thing parked. And we're now going to talk about baling. So I've gone with the round bales. A couple of reasons. You know, there's pros and cons to every decision in life, just as always. But round bales tend to be larger than square bales. So, and the trailer that you can pick them up with also holds 24. Now, I may not have enough to get the trailer and the baler right now, but I will be able to do that once I go ahead and whatchamacallit, once I go ahead and sell, or yeah, once I sell the oats. Okay, so now I see what happened. I got through those trees because I basically stuck the header inside the shed. I thought I like squeezed it by, but I didn't. So this could be interesting for the reversal. Get the baler purchased and be able, show you that. You know how balers work. I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to show you how we're baling. But basically, this baler is the one that does 180. That baler also does 180, but it gives us the ability to wrap if we wanted to. So it could do grass bales, and the rest of these I think are square. No, they're not all square. There were some round options. That one. Okay, that's a round baler, but just a small one. And then this is a fast bale, but it only does the little ones. So I'm not sure, that makes that much sense. So this is likely the one that makes the most sense. I only need 100 horsepower, so I can run it with either of my tractors. But the downside of round bales is you do have to stop, where with square bales you don't. But I think picking up less bales and therefore having less bales to move for sale will probably make the most sense. So at this point I need to head up to the shop, pick up the baler, and bring it back down here. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll start baling, and then I will let you go again. So I'll see you in a little bit. Here back at the farm, hoping I've got the line set. This thing looks really tiny, but let me go in here. We want 180 centimeters. We want to turn on automatic drop, which still means I need to stop, but at least we can do what we need to do here. So we got the baler on, we got the pickup down, and there we go. I think these should be 11,000 liter bales. So we're going to see what this turns into. Get one or the two of these done. But yeah, so the squares would drop, but the trailer to pick up round bales will pick up 24 bales. So once again, if this is a let me see, because yeah, we're getting real close. But there we go. So that goes pretty fast. So that's the nice thing. It definitely doesn't take forever to drop down. Alright, it didn't start up. But hopefully it won't take much to line up. But I'm going to have to leave these on the ground, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to have to leave them here until I can afford to get the trailer. I suppose I could increase my loan some more, but I don't know that I really want to do that. It's already costing me enough money, and at that point I'd be chewing up any profit, because at the end of the day I can't sell these bales. Whoops. See, so this is the challenge with the round bales, because let's see, let me pick that up, go back around. So that's what you got to do, is kind of pay attention. And so yes, there's definitely a little bit more work, but I think the biggest square bales might be 8,000. So it's going to be better. Why is this really moved over? That is disappointing. We'll see. We'll probably... this whole thing is just moving. So maybe I'm not lined up exactly where I need to be. Oh goodness, it starts beeping this early? That's crazy. Because yeah, I'd prefer to try to not leave any on, but I don't know how easy it's going to be to get the line set up for where I'm at, because obviously the line that I did this on was with the harvester, which isn't going to help much. Oh, we left that little bit, that's alright. It's going to be like 3 or 4 liters, so it's not worth wasting time to go ahead and do that, because it's going to take a bit of time as it is. But let's see. If I move this, my guess is what we're going to see is that it's drifting a bit. Whoop, 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 whoop. We'll see how it works for picking up. So the nice thing is with balers, as you can see, you can pick up backwards as well as forwards. So, you know, you kind of need to back up a little bit to just make sure that you're good. Whoops, and then it doesn't obviously start right away, so you gotta wait a tiny bit. But selling the bales is the best time to do that, is also the best time it is to sell oats, which is in December. So I really can't do much with these other than maybe put them in storage, which is normally what I would do. But if I don't have enough money to, you know, do what I need to do right now, then I don't have enough money to do what I need to do. Alright, so once that's closed, it should be okay. But you can see we're getting a good amount here. So, not sure that I'm gonna end up... I was gonna say, we're already falling off here. I don't know that it's worth adjusting or just paying attention as I go, because I can just move over a little bit at a time. I was thinking I might get another bale, and I got darn close, so... but, you know, you can see we're at 38, so each of these are... yeah, that was 3. So we went from 38 to 51, so... that was 13 liters sitting on the ground, so like that little bit that I had one drop to pick up, it just didn't make a lot of sense. The harvester also just kind of spits stuff a bit randomly, which is also a bit unique, but we'll see how this goes. Again, we'll lower this. Alright, I was able to get it all. I was worried that I'm gonna end up spitting this out before it's time. But anyway, I will get going, and I will do this, and then, again, I will more than likely just pick this all up later. So, that is the plan. The last piece I want to leave you with, basically the difference between the lowest and the highest, which is what we have now. We're at about $34 per thousand now. The highest can be up at $49. So we're basically talking about $15 and, you know, per thousand. So what that turns into means 367,000 liters I will have in essence paid for that bale store. And you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these bales already. We're on our way to the 7th. Obviously, we're probably going to have 7 and 8 in this row. And, you know, so 10 of these at 11,000 a piece is 110,000. So I am easily going to hit 366,000 just in the bales I'm going to have. I may hit that on the bales I have on this field, let alone the bales I'm going to have in total. So this is the reason to do this and have a bale store, because it's the difference between selling at $34 a thousand and $49 a thousand. So I'm going to keep plowing away at these and just make sure. So that's kind of what I need to do there, is move over and just keep working on these, dropping the bales and trying to get a little bit of a better motion going. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're talking about 5 seconds maybe if I do it right. So yes, while I have to stop, it's less than the others, but I don't have to worry about it. But I think part of it is I'm not sure, I don't know how well AI would do with bales, but that's partially, I think, part of what the folks that like to do the square bales are talking about, is because they don't have to sit there and worry about it, and they can just keep driving. So you could put AI on it, where AI wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, going back and forth. So that gets you up to speed of what's happening. We still don't have rain, which is incredible, given that the hour is almost over. I don't think I've ever seen this take this long. So, I mean, I could have had a lot more harvest ready, to go and been okay. So, just blessed I got it done, and I'll see you in a bit. Here at the store again, just spent $50,500. Decided to go ahead and make the purchase just to kind of be done with things. So a couple reasons for that in general. I'm frankly concerned. I've got probably 150 bales. I don't really know what I have in total. I have a lot of bales laying around, and I feel bad leaving them until November or December, because at this point it's 2 or 3 days, and yes, they might be 2 or 3 days that might be a little less busy, but that's not entirely true, because for the folks here who are double cropping and so forth, and obviously like that field over there has stuff on it, both fields do on each side, 2 different farmers, there's a lot happening, and they're likely going to be on and farming, and I'd prefer, if I can avoid being a bottleneck, to do that. Just be a good neighbor. But the other part is a little bit of a selfish nature, I suppose, in that then I'm just done with what I need, other than selling things for this year, because I'm kind of getting to the point where I want to just have the couple things to do, but I do like the idea of just having a space where from now until the point I need to sell something, that I literally can kind of ignore the farm. And so trying to play through, well, can I get this without further debt and so forth. So in the end, where I've ended up right now is totally not where I thought I would be. I kind of was thinking, well, I'm not going to do loans, but that tractor opportunity was just way too good to pass up. Getting that big of a tractor for over half off. So that kind of dug the hole, and like most people, I'm like, well, what's another couple $10,000 of debt? Who cares? So we've gone from 200,000 to 230. So yes, for the next 3 or 4 months, I'm going to pay even more interest, which probably is going to mean that my greenhouses are like just going to do what I need. And it is what it is, because I could have waited and been like, well, I'll buy this when I have cash, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be the little bit of extra interest, and it's a game. It's just so against my fiber of my being of how I would do things in real life. So maybe it's good that I have this wild experience here in virtual world, and just make what I would deem more irresponsible choices where I'm just opening myself up to problems or whatever. Like because right now, like the most maximum loans I can get are $250. So I've literally gotten myself to the point where I have a $20,000 buffer, or less than 10% of my available credit is now available. So if I was to have some catastrophe where I was like, oh goodness, I need to do this. I mean, just working on something, for example, repairing something, buying fuel, whatever it might be, I might not be able to do it. I mean, I do have $8,000. I'll probably end up honestly paying $5,000 back before I sign off. I don't know that I'm going to pick up all these bales in the time I have. I will probably pick them up today, because as I said, from the selfish standpoint, I'd like to be able to ignore the farm for half the year, and that way I can focus on other things that I'm enjoying and not have to worry about what I need to do. Because really, at the end of the day, if I break things down, I have planting day, which then includes weeding, obviously. I have come in next day and fertilize. Then I have harvest day if I'm planting grain and deciding to drop straw again, because that's partially what I'm going to need to determine. Is this something I'm going to perpetually do? Because this was not non-time consuming again. I mean, this took a bit. Maybe I have less than I thought. I mean, I'm surprised, because I'm already into a good portion of the field here, and I'm still getting my first 24. So again, 11,000, we're basically, say, 250,000 liters on every one of these. And like I said, we need 337,000 or 367,000, I think it was. Whoops, I need one more. So I'll have that, because basically the next load will be that. But I basically then need to be in the server, in theory, 4 times. But part of that if nature is, what do I need to do, or do I have enough time to do it all at once? Because harvesting, baling, and collecting, it's still a good amount of time. I can't say that I didn't have a few thoughts of like, why did I go with round bales? This was more challenging than I expected it to be. And part of it is I do like the aspect of Farming Simulator that I think a lot of people like is sometimes you just set on the row and you go. You can't really do that with the round bales because they fill so quickly. I get multiples per row, even on the slightly smaller field over there. I have to figure out how to come in here, because again, I think I drop them at this location and then they come out on the side. So I don't know, this may not be as good an idea as I thought, because if they do come out on the side, picking them up here is going to be more interesting, but oh well. I can do it. I'm just going to have to basically pull out and then turn around to go to the bale location, which is not specifically what I was planning on doing. Alright, so we're going to try that, and then that should... There they go. So you can see them starting to pile up over there. And, this will take over 2.5 million liters. So I'm not worried that I'm going to not have enough space or something. I don't think that's the situation. I'd be floored if I had that much straw. But I'm not really even going to worry about exactly what I have here, because I need to get it. I keep forgetting one more key for it to basically reset. I'm like, why is it not putting the arm back? Because once it's done, that arm will go back up into what they call transporting position. And then I'll, put it down when I get closer. And yes, I tend to collect far away and then bring in, because then it just, over time, the trips are shorter and shorter and shorter. So I've got maybe 30 minutes left. It's possible I can get all these picked up by then. As I said, I'm a little surprised how much I had to run around this field to collect a full load. So I may not even have a full second load on this field. But if I do, I'm going to have, at that point, 500,000 liters. And so I have paid for, and then some, the bale store, with the profits that I'll make from not selling the bales right now. There's this added challenge, and I would have that with the square and the round bales, and so this is where I still thought, like, logically, this makes more sense, because I'm going to have to do the same thing with whatever type of bales I do. I have to take them over, put them down, and then I'm going to have to reload them on the trailer and get them to the sell point. So, this is not a little bit of work, and that's in essence what I need to look at here is, okay, at the end of the day, for the time I put in, what am I making? The benefit with the bales is, yes, there's equipment costs. So, if we were figuring profit and loss all the way from the beginning, it's going to take me years, maybe decades, to recover all this. But this is somewhat free money. I mean, at a minimum, at most, we've got repair and fuel for the equipment that I'm doing, and then we're good to go after that. But at this point, I'm trying to figure out, because I keep saying, oh, I've kind of got what I need, and then here I am suddenly starting a baling operation because I realized this is really probably the best way to make money, rather than looking for that unreliable way of making money, which is the contracts and even being a farmhand. I think at this point, just because of my schedule and the way it works, so we will fill this trailer. Just looking around, we have more than 6 bales laying around, and you'll probably still be with me then anyway, so you'll see that. But yeah, what I was getting at was, I was like, oh yeah, I've got everything I need. I think I'm pretty much at that space. I mean, the one that I really don't have is, obviously I got the large tractor for a reason, and the biggest reason of that was a bigger planter. I don't know that I'm going to have the funds to do that next year already. I may, because once again, I would think, I think I'm going to get about $150,000 off of everything, bales and the crop itself. But, and the planter is about that, so once again, I'd be staying at the same level, and again, it just kind of gives me a little bit of the shakes, thinking, oh my god, I'm going to be paying interest for, because that cycles interest in for an extra year if I was just doing it off of the farm income, which is what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to eliminate the need, or feeling the need that I need to go find 10 hours of contract work to, survive's the wrong word, but to be comfortable. And I'd like to just be like, okay, yeah, I'm doing it because I'm interested in doing this, and because likely at that point I would also do that for a shorter period of time. I'd likely take a contract for kind of that normal 2 to 3 hours. I was thinking like I wouldn't do it for that long, and so I'd just do that, make $20,000-$30,000, and say, hey, that's nice and all, and just chip away at things there. But I know me, I'm probably going to be, like I said, having the shakes and be like, I really want to pay this off. But I'm also trying to get myself mellowed out here of, hey, it's just a sim, and I get to enjoy other sims if I'm not burying myself in here, because that's been the dynamic this week that has been a bit disappointing in my goals. There's other games I would have liked to have gotten deeper into this week that I didn't honestly even touch, and so I'm feeling a bit like entering that point where I don't think I've said it in my FOC series yet, but in FSN, when Farming Simulator kind of starts to eat everything, I get a little resentful of the game, and it gets less joyful for me, where it's like it's an obligation versus a joy. And so I know enough that I don't want to stay in that for very long, because that's how you just burn yourself out on a game or something and say, you know what, I'm not going to touch this for 3 months. And I don't want to get to that point, because I don't think I'd get to the point where I'd be like, I'm never touching it again. I mean, it's not like I'm that having such a visceral reaction that it's almost loathsome or something. But there's some iRacing stuff I usually would have done by like 3 or 4 days ago. Today's my last real day to do it. So now that's feeling like an obligation. So that's the thing. I'd like to get where I like to live is that point where I wake up and what am I going to enjoy today, without the feeling of waking up and having kind of that obligation or job thing of, oh, I have to do this, which is exactly how I woke up today. I have to finish the baling. I have to, I guess it was just I have to finish the baling. I was honestly, when I woke up this morning, thinking, well, I'm going to wait to pick these up. But then as I saw how many we ended up with, I'm like, I just need to clean this up, because it's going to just sit there in the back of my mind exactly like that. Like, I've got this hour of work or however long this is going to take me still to get done by the time I purchase the wagon and bring it over. And that's why I was like, you know what, I'm in here, I have some time, the right thing to do is to pick this up. Because once again, here the community I think is a little more lenient. I mean, it certainly could cause server issues, and then I'd probably be forced to do something, but there aren't set penalties or anything like in FSN, where in theory it would have even been frowned upon to do what I did here, which is bale all the fields and then come and pick them up. They almost want you to kind of, maybe put 50 bales down and then go collect them, and then bale some more and then go collect them. Just to, because they say that causes server issues. But I've seen way, way more bales laying around as I go around and have helped people than what I have here, and, I'm not seeing any grumbling about it anywhere and so forth, so that catches you up in where I am in my head. But my thought pattern is, yes, other than a planter, which I would like to speed things up, and I'm hopeful that I can do, and it may be just, again, maxing out the loan, or just not paying the loan off, just taking all of the money that comes in now and just turning around and putting it in a planter, because I'd like to plant next time, if I could, with a full, or a bigger planter. If I can go from 6 meters to 15 meters, which I think is the one I'm targeting, that I needed the 370 horsepower for, which now I have, that's gonna not quite be a third of the time, but it'll be close to that, and that will be a massive difference, given that it takes me about 6 hours to plant these fields with the planter I have now. And then over time, I mean, I'm still thinking that I may want to ultimately get to several cotton harvesters and kind of turn this into an automated cotton type thing where I can just throw AI on it and not have to worry about it. Alright, so now I need to wait for this, but yeah, that's it. And then what I could do once I get that planter is then I don't have this need to come in, and it just is, alright, however long it takes to get to the point where I migrate over to cotton. Because the logical thing there would be, like, wait until I can purchase what I need and be good to go that first year. Like, at a minimum, the planter, you know, and that's like the issue. I keep saying I've got a planter to buy. I've got seeders to buy, because planters are what let me plant cotton. But I'd have to buy a planter, a direct planter, and again, I wouldn't want to get this tiny thing and take 6 hours again. So, you know, we've got several $100,000 there, and then you've got the really big outlay, which is the cotton harvesters that are $400,000, I think, or maybe even $500,000. And then, you know, truth be told, then it becomes, you know, production chains of those are what you then start looking at, and it's like, well, do I want to have the millions that I need to get the full chain there of the spinnery to get fabric, and then the tailor shop to get clothes, and that would take some time. But I could also just sell cotton, and you know, that would probably be the thing where at least I'm just creating stuff and selling it to others, because that's still what I want to get into, because there's definitely a very active market of buying and selling crops here, and I certainly would be fine supplying what I'm making to other folks. So this has been longer than I planned. Hopefully it doesn't make the whole year episode turn into something insane, because, you know, I've still got the selling of all this to show you before I have the episode wrap for the year. But I am going to get going. Obviously, I'm going to finish this up. You know, now down to 25 minutes, but feeling like maybe I can do it, because I probably only have like 2.5 loads on the field still. So should be okay. But if not, I'll pick it up later this afternoon or something. But I'm going to get all this done, and then we'll be back next time when it's time to sell. And I think for oats and the straw here, that's December. So I will see you in a few months. Morning, December. Welcome to the year-end wrap. So this should be the day we sell everything. So get in my truck, but let's figure out where we're going before we fire things up and move. So for oats, if we look, Bubba Gump and Reverend Grain, they are going up a little bit, but again, we're exceeding our amount, so we're not going to be greedy. You know, so some of these, like medium EU grain, those are things that people built, and you can kind of tell because the in-map items are kind of the single digits. These others are things that folks have added. So a lot of these grain prices are not places we could actually deliver. At least none that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe I could just go ahead and take it and they'd pay me that amount. I don't know. And then those people would have that grain and it wouldn't come out of their money. I don't really know how that would work. But I've just always assumed you cannot sell to someone's grain. Maybe that's a question I'll pose, and then at least we'll get a definitive answer, or what everybody else thinks. So anyway, for $2 a thousand, which basically over 247,000 would basically be $500. I'm not going to cart it basically to here instead of to here. So I'm just literally going up here to the road, and you know, for $500 to run that, you know, and yes, it's only three trips, but I don't know that it matters. So we'll be happy to deal with our nearby facilities. We'll see. I think this is the first time I'm using the truck, just trying to get out of that interior so that it's not overtly loud. But I had come in here and checked yesterday. Ended up filling up my greenhouses. I have changed them to lettuce at this point. And so I am continuing to see what happens. Now, this is a pretty good number compared to what I was doing the other days, so that does bode well that maybe, we'll be in good shape. I also did pay off $5,000 of my loan, so we're continuing or moving in the right direction to really start just taking all that money and being profitable instead of turning around and at the end of the day paying over $700 in interest every time. That's $700 of profit we could keep if we get rid of that. But the alternative we have going on is we keep talking about trying to get a bigger planter. Taking a look at that, I'll share with you what I've found and where I think, or the decision I've made, really, not where I think we're going. It's where we're going to go, because I think the path is pretty clear, and hopefully you'll agree when I share it with you. Alright, so just coming out of the road that comes out near our fields, and then it's literally right here. Like, yeah, we could make a little bit more money by going further down the road, but it would take another minute or two, and potential crashes. It's dark. It's scary. I don't like driving my truck at night. I'm getting old. I'm the mature simmer. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I could drive at night, but... Alright, let's see where we end up here. But that was why we were down to below 5,000, as I had taken any surplus and just gotten myself down. And I was at like 2,800 or something, which would make sense since I made like $800 yesterday. Alright, so, the real question is, between this and the hay, where am I going to end up? We've got a lot more liters of hay. We've got almost 1.6 million liters compared to this, but hay's also not selling for $617 per 1,000 liters, but 74,000, and we're going to get another full truck, and then a little bit of another one. We're just going to have 7,000 more, so this is actually going to be a good start, I'll say that, because at minimum, that's going to give us 160,000 or so. Won't quite be there, because again, it's going to be it's going to be under 150,000 between these two trucks. So yeah, if I could expand the truck to 150, it would only be 2 trips, but it just worked out this way, and other times, other crops, maybe it would be different. So yeah, I had debated putting the straw like over here somewhere, and obviously I'm really glad I didn't, because I kind of felt like eyeballing where I think the logical routes would be. Okay, what am I stuck on? Oh boy, am I just stuck on... I don't know what I'm stuck on. Alright, well, whatever it is, I'm through now. So I suppose in now using this silo, this is the only thing I guess I could say that is a challenge and that I don't like about it, is the export chute versus the import chute. I don't know, that's what I'll call them. Where I take the grain out, or the products out, versus where I put it in, is very tight. I mean, the whole concept and why I like this was it's compact, and obviously with it being compact, we're going to have some maneuverability challenges. But, we're pretty good. So, in hindsight, the other thing I have certainly been thinking about over the last few days is having this location is actually ideal for doing anything with bales, because I realized, well, I didn't realize until I really was looking at things in the determination trying to figure out when I can sell and so forth. There's only one bale sell point on the map, and I'm literally right next to it. So it somewhat is leaning me toward I'd almost be a little foolish not to do something involving bales on this farm, because I am well positioned to make delivery of those bales incredibly easy. And once again, I probably could sell things off. I'm going to certainly explore that in the future to see, if people are interested and not have to wait till December, for example, because that's pretty much what I've seen people do, and canola was one that I was focused on for a long time because I was growing it for so long. But, I was getting $720, $730 a thousand waiting here. But it was not abnormal for people to be selling canola at any point for $700. And so, yes, it's less than, you're losing 30 per thousand, which is not nothing. But, just being able to sell it immediately certainly was helpful. All right, 74,130, 151,000 total. And I apologize, I'm in euros. Now I'm not. Going back and forth between Hills of Tuscany, which is my single-player series that is on the channel, and this. So I was doing some work over in Tuscany last night and did not realize when I got up this morning, because it was just in my brain, need to go sell. And there was a possibility, there always is, that you get in the morning and it's like, price is going to rise perhaps throughout the day. I mean, again, the price is rising. I could always try to do this later in the day. I just kind of hate doing that, because, especially when it's over what the chart is already saying. Because to me, that means it could just as easily in the middle of the day turn back around, and that the average in December is going to be 604, and then I'll get in the evening and we'll already be down to like 580 or something. So, I think that's where greed ends up being your enemy, certainly. I don't know that greed's ever your friend, other than just, being a motivational tool or something to pay him. I need money to eat. I don't know that I call that greed. It's probably survival. It's probably a better way to classify that, but in any event, we're going to get 600, so we're going to get, another 5,000 maybe. Probably at least that, because we've got almost 8,000 here, so that would already be like 4,800. But overall, not a bad result. Now, I think the hay bales, nowhere near as easy as this, or the straw bales. So this is part of what may turn me off to the idea of, hey, let's build a bale operation along with everything else we're doing on the farm. And I'm not looking, because it's not as if silage is worth that much or anything. I'm not looking to suddenly have a grass field and do all that, buy all that equipment. At this point we have the equipment we can use. Let's get this last load in here. Oh, we didn't get 5,000. I really thought we would. Interesting. Alright. 48.79. Maybe the price has dropped? No, 618. Actually, theoretically went up. I don't know. Because 8 times 6 is 4,800, but, yes, it was 896, so we didn't have... and I suppose the little bit that we're talking about, because not having 100, that's 10%, so that's already going to be down almost $62 right there. So, it's not like we were off that much. We were off a little bit over $100, so... and once again, you're getting what you're getting. That's alright. So, I'm not going to fixate on it too much. I'm trying to make some witty comment again, and there just isn't anything witty. price, the market paid me what it paid me, and I have almost $157,000. And I know with 100% certainty I will have at least $157,000 by the time I'm done selling hay, even at the low prices comparatively of hay. But you know, let's not kid ourselves. We also have 8 times as much hay as we have had oats. Alright, so let's see. If I go here, I want to choose the material. Obviously, I want my biggest bales that I can. I don't want square bales, so yeah, the round bale is 11,000 liters. And let's put out 23 bale. Whoa, we have 145, so there we go. So we know, so right now I'm going to put out 23 bales because that's what I need in addition. So yes, there they are. My challenge here, and this is where, you know, I'll show you a bit of this, but you're not going to want to hang around for all of this because I think this is going to take me some time today. But yeah, I think just to not get hung up, I'm just going to drive into this large area, turn around, the bale sell point's right there. And so it's literally, you know, I could almost throw them or roll them down the hill here and sell them. I wish it would work that way. Just turn it on and let them roll. But no such luck. So let's see. So I'm just worried this is not going to be as simple, or things are going to mess up, but it should be pretty straightforward in all honesty. It's just obviously I'm going to have to come back here. You know, I can't turn around and go the other way as easily, so you know, I'm going to have to back up, for example. But this is the piece that I said, you know, I bring it in here, I load it. You know, obviously if I could just sell the bales right away, you know, that would work. And I guess what I didn't check, I'm just assuming it's right up there at the max, 47, and that's it. So again, some other biogas plant for someone is paying 49, but that, you know, that would be a lot. Even $2 a thousand, it would be, you know, $2,500. Not worth it. All right, now let's see how this works, because this will be telling of what I want to do. Because my logic, just to try it, is, since it tells me I can output 145 bales, I'm like, I'll just output all those bales and let's do it. But the stack would be pretty substantial, obviously, because, you know, 24 bales at a time, we're probably talking 6, maybe even into 7, because I'm just doing 25 in my head. So obviously if it was 25 that we could fit here, it would be, you know, 6 loads would get me to 150. So the 145, honestly, yes, I think I'd have what I did. I'd have that extra bale in the 7th load. So that's the reality we have, is what I'll be doing. And what I may end up doing is just leaving it, or, you know, because grabbing that one bale, it's not like I have to sell it, but I'll probably do it. I mean, it's one extra bale. So alright, so we'll just tighten this up so we can easily get in here. So we'll just show you this one, and then maybe we'll do the output just so you can see how ridiculous it looks, because I think it's going to be really high. I'm just worried things are going to fall everywhere, but alright, this should be the sell point, and it should give me money. So let's see, there we go. So selling pretty quickly, but let's see what a full load looks like. Not going to be anywhere near $75,000. $12,758. So Not bad, but, you know, that's going to put us a little ways in. You know, again, it will be 6 loads plus, so we're going to have basically 72,000, so it won't be too bad. Alright, so I don't want to pull in there yet. But let's run over here. And I guess we'll output it all. Just hope it won't, like, somehow mess things up. So let's see. Let's see what it'll do. Because you just think it would be too high. But maybe it'll do it. I don't know. So you can see the bales are coming. 3 high, 4 high I would expect to be normal. So there we go. We've unwrapped another row. Okay, so maybe it just stops there. I'm just hoping that doesn't mean like suddenly I lost all that hay. I mean, in theory I shouldn't have. It's there, but because what it may do is it just may start outputting it. But I'm thinking like once it hits that point, the logical thing would be that it just stops. Because otherwise, if it starts like throwing bales in here, but the thing is, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like it's 8 rows, so we can do 16 times 3, so that's 48. If my math is serving me correctly, I think that's accurate, which means a couple of these, or 3 of these, so I'm going to have to do 3 unloads, but that's alright. But now you know what I'm doing. It's actually not working too terribly bad. You know, because the bales don't have to be in the right position. You can see how Farming Simulator works. You know, they fall a little bit. I'm getting a little concerned. I'm going to, like, tip those piles over. I am turning away, but it's just not doing what I like. So let's see. Hopefully. Oh, I'm like, what is happening? Did I confuse it by moving? It seemed to get stuck for a second. But I'm going to go ahead and get these sold, and then we'll be back at the end and we'll talk about our options and what we're doing. So I'll see you in a bit. So the year is getting ready to wrap up. Last load of bales. 16 bales here. So basically, yes, it puts out 48, but the thing I didn't realize until I loaded the first cart is basically that means 1 row fills this trailer. And so basically all I need to do then is pick up 1 row, sell it, come back, pick up the next row, sell it. It actually works incredibly well, other than when I'm in a hurry, because at one point what I ended up doing was having a bale fall over the rail, which was something I was worried about the whole time. And that was a bit of a challenge. I had to go around. I got the tractor in there, and luckily I was able to basically manhandle the thing back over the rail, almost flipping the tractor in the process. So 234,324. If we come over here, this is the cedar we have. So we're going to be able to sell it for maybe half that when we sell it. So it's going to give us, you know, let's just be conservative and say 50,000. This is another one we could do, but it's literally 2 meters wide, or I should say 2 meters wider. This is the one I was targeting. I was not aware it was $375,000. So as you can see, we're not there. Even with the sale, you know, we'd be at 275 maybe. You know, doesn't make a lot of sense to go ahead, because at this point I don't have enough space in my loan if I even wanted to just bury myself in a loan. And then we're into the giant ones after that, which I just don't need and obviously cost significantly more. You know, I had looked at this one because of the price, but it's not a direct drill. And then this is a direct drill, but once again, you know, the horsepower is Like, I could handle this, so eventually I can grow into this if I want. So that would obviously take me a little bit wider, but, you know, then we're back in the same position. I'm 5 meters wider than this. And so, does it really make sense to go to $600,000 to gain, you know, 5 meters? Where here I'm gaining 11 meters to go to this. That makes a little bit more sense to me. And until I get really, really large, I'm just not sure that I need to worry about the large ones. But in any event, what I determined is I can't afford this right now. So that leads me to the decision, which is I can pay off this entire loan now. And that's what I was unsure about until I sold everything, because I didn't know what everything was going to look like. But there we go. So we started the episode with about 3,400, 3,800, I don't know, something in the 3,000s. We've made a net of maybe 5,000, 6,000, but more importantly, we are debt free again. And so what that means now is this is not going to be happening anymore. So we're not going to be paying someone money, but, you know, 153,000 plus the bales. So, you know, we can see we did pretty well here. So with that being said, this wraps up this year. Farmers Only Club here at Misty Hills. Hope you've enjoyed this year. I know this is just the second year of the new format. Definitely comment down below if you don't like this consolidation and you feel it's just spacing things out too much. Right now the videos are showing up kind of in the slots because I'm far enough out. It's not the end of September yet, and this video is not showing up till November. But what's going to start happening, and so maybe people won't comment until they see it later, is it's 12 days per game year. If I'm waiting a game year to get everything together in one episode, we're going to be basically consider it 2 weeks apart between episodes for this multiplayer community. I don't know if that's gone too far from going every other day to suddenly 6 times less frequently than that to some degree. You know, realistically, because of the jump over the weekends and things like that, with the VIP series was providing, we really were only getting like 5 episodes in, so in a 2-week span. So it might not be quite that bad. It might, you know, be double that or whatever, but you know, you're still going to get 1 episode a week instead of 4 or 1 episode every 2 weeks instead of 4 or 5 every 2 weeks, which is kind of what the pace was before. So let me know how you feel about that, if that's okay. But feedback, only real feedback I got is, you know, videos are too long. There's very few people, I think, that watch them. I mean, there are some, so I'm thinking there will be some of you who'd be like, no, go back to the old format. I enjoyed it. It's not that there won't be content on the channel, it's just going to be different content. There's going to be less farming simulator content constantly appearing, at least from FOC. What may start to happen is, you know, I'll keep doing what I'm doing with the VIP series right now, which is putting 2 out a week. And so maybe, again, that'll be enough, because you're going to get those 2 episodes every week. You're going to have at least 2 farming simulator episodes a week, and then on the week an FOC episode drops, you'll get 3. Let me know what you think. If you haven't liked this video, if you've enjoyed it and you've enjoyed the journey this year, please go ahead and drop a like. It helps expand the reach of the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel, just like anybody on YouTube. I'm always trying to get a bigger audience, hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think I'll get there. I just I'm kind of close enough now that the impatience is certainly growing. But if you would be so kind and do me kindness of becoming a subscriber, I would greatly appreciate it. I'd love to have you along, and certainly join the Discord channel, and you know, let's start some chatter going there. We've got about 40 people that are now there. I've added some channels for chatter, not really getting used yet, but I'm trying to stay ahead of what people might want. and trying to build an active community here like other channels have. So hopefully we can do that. And with that, early this morning, I knew I just have to be in here for a little bit. My work this year is done. Get to rest a little bit until the spring. I'll see you next time.